This is number 10 out of 11.1, and we're trying to figure out how to do, there's 3 parts to this. Let's see if we can do the first part. So one thing I want to mention is in the first angle here, we know that this angle here is a straight angle, so that's going to add up to 180 degrees. It's going to add up to 180. We know that this angle right here, BOC, is a right angle. That means that that angle right here is 90 degrees. Since the whole piece is going to add up to 180, and we have that 90 degree angle in the middle, that means, that means that this angle here and this angle here will have to add up to the remaining 90, okay? So if you notice that they're calling these angles X and Y, right? So we're calling this measure X, we're calling this measure Y, and we're saying that X is the same thing as 1/9 of angle Y. So first off, I know that X plus Y, when I add them together, is going to give me 90 degrees. We also know that X is the same thing as 1/9 Y. So 1/9 Y plus another Y is 90 degrees. So let's multiply everything by 9 over 1. I'm going to go super slow here. So look, 9 times 1 is 9Y. 9 times this Y is another 9Y. And 9 times that 90 is going to give me 810. Now let's do the denominator. So I'll think of those over 1. So 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. And 1 times 1 is 1 again. Now we can start reducing. So these 9s will cancel. That'll just leave me with a Y plus a 9Y equals 810. That adds up to 10Y equals 810. So when I divide both sides by 10, come up with Y is equal to 81 degrees, right? Remember, angle Y, just in case you're curious, is the same thing as angle COD. So we notice right here, here's angle COD, same thing as Y, right? Now remember what we said, that angle and this one here, are going to add up to 90 degrees. So if I want to find the measure of angle AOB, we can say what's 90 minus 81? That gives us 9 degrees, okay? So now let's work on part B. Okay, here's part B. And here's my picture for part B. And let me see, I'm looking at this part right here. And it says the measure of angle AOB, which is this angle here, is 40 degrees less than 7 times the measure of BOC. BOC will be that angle, okay? So notice they're using Y's and X's again, right? So again, first thing I know, if I add them together, we're going to get 90 degrees. That's the first thing we know because we have a right angle here, okay? The other thing we know is that angle Y, because that's AOB, angle Y is 40 degrees less than 7 times angle X. So Y is going to be 40 degrees less than 7X, right? Because this one here is X. All right, so now let's put them together. So I'm going to just do a little substitution. I'm going to take this Y and I'm going to plug it in over here. So that's going to give me X plus 7X minus 40, equals 90 degrees. So this is 8X minus 40 equals 90 degrees. So I'm going to add 40 to both sides. And let's see, we'll end up with 8X. Let me write it up here because I got a little bit of room. 90 and 40 should give me 130. And then we'll divide both sides by 8. So let me grab my calculator. It is right here. Let me clear that out. We said, what is 130 divided by 8? Oh, I don't know. I want to write it as a decimal. So math decimal, 16.25. Okay. So X is 16.25. If you notice, there's my 16.25, right? Okay, and now if I want to find the other part, remember, the whole thing has to add up to 90 degrees. So if we want to find the other part, we can just say, well, what's 90 minus 16.25, and I'll let you do this part in the calculator, but you should come up with 73.75. Okay. Now there is a part C, so let's do part C. And let's see, here's part C. Let me make sure I have everything for part C. Okay. Okay, 1 second, guys. Come back here. And I think we have everything for part C. Okay, so let's take a look at part C. So what do we know? Let's take a look at some of the pieces of information that we know. We know that this here is a straight angle, okay? So let's take a look at how this angle is formed. We have 1, 2, 3 x's. So 3x plus, we also have 3y is going to add up to 180, right? So one thing we can do is we can divide everything by the number 3, okay? And if we do that, we're going to end up with x plus y equals 60 degrees, okay? Now, I want to point something out. They're asking me here, can we find the measure of angle BOC? Okay, so let me erase, oops, sorry, try to get the eraser. Let me get the eraser here. Let's look at the measure of angle BOC. So here's B, there's O, and there's C. Look at what those two angles are. Isn't it X and Y added together? So angle BOC is X and Y added together, and when we did that, we came up with 60. The next part, it says the exact values of X and Y cannot be determined because the figure only gives enough information to find the sum, because that's what we're doing here. Remember, sum means we're adding. To find X and Y, more information about the relationship between X and Y, or a value such as the measure of angle EOD. So let's take a look at what EOD looks like, okay? What does EOD look like? EOD is, here we go. We would need the 3 y's together so that we could find y by itself, okay? We would need something like that. So anyway, that was number 10 from 11.1. I know it's kind of a long problem, but I